Ex said I wasted her 20s. Showed up at my engagement party 3 years later. Guys, I'm still processing what happened last night, and I honestly don't know if I'm living in reality anymore. Need some outside perspective because my brain feels like it's been put in a blender. Background. I'm 31M, data analyst at Bridgestone Analytics here in Nashville. 3 years ago, I was living in Bloomington, Indiana with my college girlfriend Savannah, 29F, for 7 years. We started dating when I was 21, she was 19. Classic college sweethearts thing. Moved in together junior year, got serious fast. Here's where it gets messy. When I was 28, I started thinking about proposing. Had the whole thing planned out, ring picked, restaurant booked, even talked to her dad. Then one random Thursday in March, she comes home from work and just explodes. Says she's been thinking about us and realized she wasted her 20s on someone going nowhere. Exact quote, "I gave you the best years of my life, and you're still the same boring guy from freshman orientation." I was devastated. Like, couldn't eat for a week, devastated. She moved out that weekend to live with some real estate broker she'd been just friends with. The whole thing felt like getting hit by a truck I never saw coming. So what did I do? I went full nuclear, blocked her on everything, changed my number, quit my job at the university's IT department, and took a position here in Nashville. Basically pulled a geographic and started over completely. And you know what? Best decision I ever made. Fast forward 3 years. I'm killing it at my new job, got an amazing friend group, live in a sick apartment in the Gulch, and most importantly, I met Harper. She's 28, financial advisor, Nashville born and raised, and just gets me. We've been together a year and a half, and 6 months ago I proposed. Real proposal this time, not the fake-out I planned with Savannah. Last night was our engagement party. Nothing huge, maybe 40 people at this beautiful private venue in Music City. My parents flew down from Indiana, Harper's whole family was there, our combined friend groups. Everything was perfect. Open bar, killer Nashville skyline view, everyone having an amazing time. Then around 9 p.m., I'm talking to my buddy Shane by the bar when Harper comes up looking confused. "Babe, there's someone at the door saying she knows you?" Security's handling it, but she's pretty insistent. My stomach drops. I walk over and through the glass doors, I see her. Savannah. Standing in the parking lot in a dress that probably cost more than my monthly car payment, crying and arguing with the venue security guard. I step outside and she immediately starts with, "Colt, please, I just need to talk to you for 5 minutes. I made the biggest mistake of my life, and I can't let you do this without knowing how I feel." Guys, what do you even say to that? The woman who called me a waste of her 20s is standing at my engagement party begging for attention. I told her she needed to leave immediately. She starts sobbing harder, saying she's been thinking about me every day, and how she panicked about commitment, but always knew we were meant to be. Then she has the audacity to ask if she can meet Harper and explain things woman to woman. The security guard was incredible though. Wyatt, I think his name was. Told her she had 2 minutes to get to her car before he called Metro PD for trespassing. She kept crying and saying she drove 5 hours from Bloomington just to save me from making a mistake. I walked back inside, told Harper what happened, and we decided to just pretend it never occurred. The party was too good to let some drama ruin it. But I keep thinking, who does that? Who shows up uninvited to someone's engagement party after saying they wasted your life? The crazy part is, I feel nothing. Like, 3 years ago this would have destroyed me. I would have spent weeks analyzing what she meant, wondering if I should give her another chance. Now I just feel sorry for her. Harper handled it like a champ too. She was more annoyed about the security breach than anything else. How did she even know where we were having this? Good question. So Reddit, am I crazy for thinking this is completely unhinged behavior? Or is there something I'm missing here? Part of me wants to just block it out, but another part is wondering if she's going to keep escalating things. Also, should I be worried about Harper? She's trying to play it cool, but I can tell she's bothered by the whole thing. Update 1. The plot has thickened considerably, and I'm honestly kind of freaked out now. So after my engagement party crashed by my ex Savannah, Harper and I figured it was just a one-off crazy moment. Embarrassing, but over. We were wrong. Tuesday morning, Harper gets a call from Wyatt, the venue security manager who handled the situation. Apparently, their policy is to follow up on any incident reports, and he had some information he thought we should know. Turns out, Savannah didn't just happen to find our party. She called the venue multiple times over the past 3 weeks. At first, she posed as Harper's cousin asking about the Sinclair engagement party to confirm the date and location. When they wouldn't give details to a cousin, she tried calling back as a family friend, then as someone from my side trying to coordinate travel. But here's the really messed up part. Wyatt pulled the security footage from the past month. She drove by the venue 4 different times in the weeks leading up to our party. 4 times. That's not coincidence or panic. That's planning. Harper is now officially pissed. Not just annoyed, angry. She spent yesterday morning on the phone with her lawyer asking about restraining orders and harassment laws in Tennessee. Apparently, the fact that Savannah had to drive across state lines to stalk us makes it a potential federal issue. We also figured out how she knew about the engagement in the first place. Remember my buddy Deacon from IU? We've stayed in touch over the years, and he's still in Bloomington. Apparently, he mentioned my engagement on his Instagram story a few weeks ago. Just a quick congrats to my boy Colt type thing with a photo of my ring post. Savannah must have seen it through mutual friends. The more I think about it, the more it creeps me out. She took time off work to plan this. She booked a hotel room at Opryland. We found out because she tried to use it to convince venue staff she was in town for our wedding. She spent money on that dress, gas, the hotel. This wasn't a spontaneous emotional decision. This was a calculated attempt to blow up my life. But here's what really gets me. 3 years ago, this woman told me I was boring and wasted her youth. She moved in with another guy literally that same week. Now she's spending her vacation days and money to sabotage my happiness. The cognitive dissonance is insane. Shane, my buddy from the party, had an interesting perspective. He said maybe the reason she's so obsessed is because I won the breakup. I moved to a bigger city, got a better job, found someone amazing, and clearly leveled up my entire life. Meanwhile, she's stuck in the same college town doing the same real estate job, probably watching everyone else's success through social media. Harper made a good point too. If she really thought you were boring and a waste of time, why is she fighting so hard to get you back? Kind of proves that her whole "wasted my 20s" speech was just panic about commitment, not actual truth. We've decided to document everything. Screenshots of any attempts to contact us, copies of the venue's incident report. Even Harper's lawyer suggested keeping a record of any financial costs this causes us, like if we have to hire security for our actual wedding. Speaking of the wedding, we're definitely changing some plans now. Originally wanted something intimate and local, but now we're thinking we need better security and maybe a location that's harder for uninvited guests to crash. The weird part is, I still don't feel angry at Savannah. Just sad. Like, this is what her life has become. 3 years to think about what happened, and instead of working on herself or finding happiness elsewhere, she's been apparently obsessing over the boring guy she dumped. Harper's been amazing through all this. She keeps joking that she must be pretty great if someone's willing to drive 5 hours and commit light felonies to try to steal her man. But I can tell she's genuinely worried about escalation. Should we be concerned about her showing up at the actual wedding? Harper's family is from here, so it's not like Savannah could easily infiltrate through fake cousin claims again. But I'm starting to wonder what else she might try. Also, for those asking in the comments, yes, I'm sure I made the right choice moving to Nashville. Even without Harper in the picture, my life here is objectively better in every way. Better job, better friends, better opportunities, better city. Sometimes the trash takes itself out, and you realize later it was the best thing that ever happened to you. Update 2. Reddit. I owe you guys an update because the information I've learned over the past 2 weeks has completely changed how I understand my entire relationship with Savannah. So remember my buddy Deacon from IU who inadvertently alerted Savannah to my engagement through his Instagram? Well, after feeling guilty about the whole thing, he decided to do some detective work on my behalf. And what he found out is, honestly kind of heartbreaking, but also validates every decision I've made. Deacon still hangs out with a lot of our old college crowd, including some people who stayed close with Savannah after our breakup. Apparently, after a few drinks last weekend, One of her friends spilled the entire story of what happened in March 2022. Here's the real timeline. Savannah didn't leave me for that real estate broker she was just friends with. She left me because she was having what can only be described as a quarter-life crisis panic attack. She'd been scrolling through Instagram, seeing all these influencer couples traveling to Dubai and buying houses at 25, and convinced herself she was settling for a boring life in Indiana with a boring guy, me. The real estate broker was her backup plan, not her true love. She thought he represented excitement and financial success. Except here's the kicker, he dumped her 3 weeks later. 3 weeks. Apparently told her she was too intense, and obviously not over her ex. So by April 2022, 1 month after calling me a waste of her 20s, she was single, regretful, and too proud to reach out. Her friend said she spent that entire summer waiting for Colt to fight for her, and was shocked when I went full no contact instead. But it gets worse. When I moved to Nashville in July 2022, Savannah apparently had a complete meltdown, started calling it abandonment, and telling people I was punishing her for being honest about her feelings. She genuinely expected me to stick around Bloomington waiting for her to figure out what she wanted. Deacon said she's been monitoring my life through mutual connections ever since. Not just the obvious social media stuff. She's been asking people about my job, my apartment, whether I was dating anyone. When Harper and I got engaged, multiple people told him she spent the weekend crying and saying it should have been her. Here's the part that really got to me. Her real estate career has been a disaster. She's still working for the same small firm in Bloomington, barely making enough to cover her rent. The exciting, successful life she thought she was missing out on never materialized. Meanwhile, I'm thriving in Nashville, making almost double what I was at IU, with actual growth opportunities and a future. Deacon also mentioned that she's been through a series of short relationships since 2022, but apparently sabotages them all by comparing everyone to Colt. One guy lasted 6 months before he told her friends he felt like he was competing with a ghost. The most telling detail, she still has photos of us on her phone. Not posted anywhere, but saved in an album called What If. Harper nearly choked on her wine when I told her that one. Look, I know some of you might think this information should make me feel sorry for her or reconsider how I've handled things. But honestly, it just confirms that I made the right choice. She didn't leave me because I was actually boring or because we were incompatible. She left because she had FOMO and thought she could do better. Then when reality hit, instead of learning from the experience and moving forward, she spent 3 years obsessing over the life she threw away. Harper's perspective has been really helpful here. She pointed out that someone who truly loved me wouldn't have been so willing to throw away 7 years over social media-induced anxiety, and someone who respected me wouldn't have expected me to wait around after being told I was a waste of time. The engagement party crash makes so much more sense now, too. It wasn't about love or realizing she made a mistake. It was about panic that her backup plan, me eventually coming back, was permanently off the table. We're still moving forward with extra security for the wedding. Harper's lawyer confirmed that while Savannah's behavior is concerning, it doesn't quite meet the threshold for a restraining order in Tennessee, unless she makes more direct threats or attempts contact. But here's the thing that makes me feel most at peace. I genuinely hope she finds happiness. Not with me, obviously, but in general. 3 years of regret and obsession sounds exhausting. I hope she eventually gets therapy, learns from this experience, and finds someone who actually appreciates her without her having to chase them across state lines. As for me and Harper, we're better than ever. If anything, this whole situation has shown us how solid our foundation is. We communicate openly, we support each other through weird situations, and we're building something real instead of just trying to recreate what we think we should want. Wedding planning is going great, by the way. We found an amazing venue at Cheekwood Gardens that has excellent security and requires guest list verification. Spring ceremony, small but meaningful. Everything Savannah's dramatic gesture was not. Final update. Hey Reddit. I know it's been a while, but I wanted to close out this saga properly since so many of you have been following along. First, the good news. Harper and I got married 2 weeks ago at Cheekwood Gardens, and it was absolutely perfect. Beautiful weather, amazing venue, all our favorite people, and zero drama. The extra security we hired barely had anything to do except direct guests to the bathroom. But of course, Savannah couldn't let it end quietly. About a week before the wedding, a package arrived at my apartment. Expensive wrapping, professional delivery, addressed to Mr. and Mrs. Mercer. Harper's keeping her name, by the way, but whatever. Inside was a ridiculously expensive crystal vase, like 300 plus Williams-Sonoma type stuff, and a handwritten note. The note, Jesus. 2 full pages of cursive about how she'll always love me and hopes I find happiness even if it's not with her. Talked about how our connection was real, and she's grateful for the beautiful years we shared. Ended with some bullshit about, if Harper makes you happy, then I'm happy too, and signed with endless love, S. Harper read it and just started laughing. Not mean laughter, but the kind of laughter you have when something is so absurd you can't process it any other way. She really thought she could wedding gift her way back into your life. We talked about it and decided the healthiest response was to donate the vase to the Nashville Domestic Violence Program, along with a monetary donation in honor of learning to recognize manipulative behavior. Petty, maybe, but also felt like turning something negative into actual good. The wedding itself was incredible, though. My parents absolutely loved Harper. Her family made me feel like I'd been part of their clan for years, and our Nashville friends threw an after-party that lasted until 3 a.m. Deacon came down from Indiana and spent the whole weekend apologizing for enabling the stalker, but honestly, he's been amazing throughout this whole thing. Career-wise, things keep getting better. I got promoted to senior data analyst last month with a significant raise, and Harper's financial advisory practice is expanding so fast, she's hiring another associate. We're looking at houses in Green Hills and planning a honeymoon to Croatia next spring. The contrast is pretty stark when I think about where I was 3 years ago. Broken up, devastated, living in a college town with no real career prospects, convinced I'd never find someone who understood me. Now I'm married to my best friend, thriving professionally in a city I love, with an amazing social circle and unlimited possibilities ahead. Someone in my first post asked if I felt like I won the breakup. Honestly, there's no winning or losing here. Savannah made a choice that felt right for her at the time, and I made different choices that worked out better for me. The only difference is I spent 3 years building something new instead of 3 years regretting something old. I do genuinely hope she finds peace, though. Not with me, obviously, but in general. Carrying that much regret and obsession for that long must be exhausting. Maybe the wedding gift was her way of trying to let go. If so, good for her. A few people have asked if I have any regrets about how I handled things. The only thing I might have done differently was maybe not blocking her so completely right after the breakup. Not because I wanted to get back together, but because it might have prevented some of the obsessive behavior if she'd had a way to process her regret earlier. But honestly, even that's probably bullshit. Someone who shows up at your engagement party after 3 years of no contact wasn't looking for closure. They were looking for a second chance they hadn't earned. The biggest lesson I learned from all this: when someone shows you who they are, believe them. When Savannah told me I wasted her 20s, she was telling me that she didn't value what we'd built together. Everything that happened after that was just confirmation. Harper, on the other hand, has never made me question my worth or our relationship. She sees challenges as things we solve together, not reasons to bail. She's excited about our future instead of constantly comparing it to other possibilities. That's what adult love looks like. So that's it, Reddit. From you wasted my 20s to Mr. and Mrs. Mercer in 3 years. Sometimes the best response to being called a waste of time is proving them right by thriving without them. Thanks to everyone who offered advice, support, and perspective throughout this journey. This community helped me process some really confusing emotions and stay focused on what actually mattered.